Hey guys, it's Megan, and in today's video, I'll be showing you a few crafts you can make with seed beads. I don't know why, but I always feel like making jewelry this time of year. These crafts are perfect for summer. The main supplies that I used in this video were seed beads. I used 2mm and 3mm ones, 26 gauge wire, and jewelry pliers. All of this stuff is super inexpensive. I know that you can get a big box of seed beads for like $12 on Amazon. Try to look for the ones that are all the same size. I'll link the ones that I used in the description. Also, real quick, before we jump into it, I wanted to let you guys know that I made new merch. I scanned the painting that I made in last week's video, and I also uploaded this painting that I did back in 2020. I cleaned that one up a bit in Procreate. We have tote bags, canvases, stickers. The links for all that will be down below. And with all that being said, let's just get into it. So the first project that I made were these seed bead animal earrings. I don't know if any of you made those pony bead animals growing up, but that's basically what this is, just on a smaller scale. First, I cut about 12 inches of wire. You might need more or less depending on the pattern that you use, but it's always better to have a little bit extra. Next, I folded the wire in half and twisted it around my round nose pliers a few times to create a loop. What I like to do is hold the wire in between the pliers and then twist the ends with my hands. Then I started adding my beads. I decided to make the classic pony bead lizard for my first pair of earrings. I'll put the pattern for this up on the screen. To start the lizard, I put one 2mm bead on my left wire, brought the right wire through that same bead, and pulled the wire on both sides until the bead reached the loop at the top. If you have trouble, you can use your pliers to help you pull the wire through. Which, oh my god, there's so much cat hair on my background. I'm so sorry. Like, my cats are just a mess, and I vacuumed and everything. And, did the little, what's the thingy called, like the sticky roller thing? I did that over the table, and here we are. Oh, a lint roller, that's what it's called. Also, these are good for cleaning up glitter. I saw that on like some kind of life hacks video. It actually does kind of work. Then for the next row, I used 2 green beads. So same thing, I put 2 beads on the left, brought the right string through both beads, and pulled both sides until they reached the top. And that's basically all that you do, just follow your pattern. I remember making these when I was like 8. It's really not that difficult. Like, if I could do it back then, I feel like you can probably do it. One thing that I will say though, when I was a kid, I remember I hated these because I would make them with big pony beads and like normal string, and they'd always end up like kind of floppy and just not hold their shape very well. The first time that I tried this, I tried making them with regular thread, and the lizard worked okay, but anything where you need like more beads per row gave me that same issue. So if you're gonna do this project, definitely go with the wire. You can literally use any pattern that you want for this. What I did was I went on Pinterest and I looked up pony bead patterns, which will give you a ton of different options. Everything is very like 90s, early 2000s. I love it. Personally, I like smaller earrings, so I use 2mm seed beads, but you can use whatever size that you have. The only thing about this is definitely be careful when you're pulling the wire. Clearly I was not. Send help. But when you get to the end of the pattern, just twist the wire together a few times. Trim off the excess, and use your pliers to flatten out any sharp edges. These took me about half an hour to make each one, but it might take you more or less time depending on the pattern that you use. Since these already have the loop at the top, I just used a jump ring to attach them to my earring posts. I like to make these out of clay. I know I've showed this before, so I'll just link it up in the eye. But here's how my finished earrings turned out. I'm seriously obsessed with these. They are so fun to make. I also made a second pair that has bees on them. I think it would be really cool to make a whole bunch of these and turn them into like a charm bracelet or a necklace. The next project that I made with seed beads are these seed bead chokers. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to want to do is measure around your neck. Mine's apparently 12.75 inches, so I wanted to make my necklace about 13 inches long. After you have your measurement, go ahead and cut a piece of wire that's twice the size of your neck. You'd probably be okay with a little bit less than this, but again, I always say it's better to have a little bit more than you need. Now go ahead and take your round nose pliers and make a loop at the end, just like we did before. I like to twist the wire around the bottom of the loop to make sure that it's secure. Go ahead and use your flat pliers to crimp it, and make sure that there aren't any sharp edges. Now we can start stringing on the beads. The first necklace that I made was this bee necklace. For this one, I added 10 black seed beads in between each bee. Oh, by the way, I made these necklaces with 3mm seed beads. For the bees, these are actually super easy. For the body, you add a yellow bead, a black bead, then another yellow one. Then string on 2 white beads for the wings. To create the bee shape, loop the wire back around through the bee's body. Pull it tight, and now you have a cute little bee. You might have to use pliers to help you out a little bit. Go ahead and repeat this pattern until your choker's the right length. So again, that's 10 black beads, a yellow, black, and a yellow bead for the body, and 2 white beads for the wings. Loop the wire back through the bee's body and keep on going. I ended up making 11 bees altogether. Once your necklace is long enough, use your round nose pliers to make another loop at the end. Again, I like to twist my wire around the base of the loop a few times to secure it. Cut off the excess wire, then use your flat pliers to get rid of any sharp edges. To finish the necklace, I added a jump ring to one of the wire loops, and added a lobster clasp to the jump ring before closing it. And here's how my finished necklace turned out. I think that this makes a super cute set with the bee earrings that we made earlier. I also made this cherry necklace using a similar technique. For this one, I strung on 10 pink beads, then 1 green for the cherry stem, and 2 red for the cherries. This time we're going to loop the wire under so that the cherries are on the bottom, bringing the wire back up through that green bead. Repeat this pattern as many times as you want, and finish off the necklace the same way. I also made this squiggly seed bead necklace. This was inspired by one that I saw on Pinterest. For this one, I cut a piece of gold chain that was 13 inches long. I turned this into a necklace by adding jump rings to both ends of the chain, and adding a lobster clasp to one of them. Next, I took some more of that 26 gauge wire and cut a piece that was twice as long as my chain. This actually ended up being a little bit short, so I'd actually recommend making it 3 times as long. I put the end of the wire through one of the loops in the chain, folding the wire in half and twisting it to secure it. I taped the chain to my table to make it easier. Then I started adding the beads. This can honestly be as planned or as random as you want. I used a different number of beads for each loop. So for this first one, I did 10 beads. Then I counted 4 chain links away and brought the wire up. On the next loop, I only used 8 beads. Again, I counted 4 chain links away and brought the wire back down. I think that it looks cool if you combine colors on some of the loops. So for this next one, I did 3 dark blue beads and 4 light blue ones to transition to that next color. You can use as many colors as you want to. I really don't know what this style of necklace is called, but here are a few examples that I found. I ended up going with 3 colors: dark blue, light blue, and white. There's really no exact science to this. You kind of just add however many beads that you think would look good, bringing the wire up and down through the chain. Again, just like the earrings, you kind of need wire for this one. Don't bother trying to do this with normal thread. That was like 2 hours of my life that I'll never get back. It was so much easier with the wire. I actually ended up running out of wire, so what I did was I cut another piece and used my pliers to twist them together as well as I could. Here's what the wire looked like when I was done. Thankfully, I was able to slide the beads on, no issues. And as you can see, it went right through the chain. When I reached the end of the chain, I twisted the wire around one of the chain links a couple times, threading it in and out to make sure that it was secure. Cut off the excess, and used my pliers to flatten out any sharp edges. And here's how my finished necklace turned out. Honestly, I'm not sure how I feel about this one. I mean, I like it, but it's definitely different from what I normally go for. Let me know what you guys think. The last project that I made this week were these seed bead rings. There are so many ways to make rings with seed beads, but here are 2 options that I tried. This first method's kind of cool because you can use it to make adjustable rings. All you do is you take a piece of wire that's about 3 or 4 inches long and use your round nose pliers to create a loop at the end, twisting the bottom just like we did before. Then add your beads. The amount of beads that you need will depend on your ring size and the size of your beads. I used 3mm seed beads and 1 letter bead. My ring size is like a 7 or an 8 depending on which finger, except for my pinky, that one's like a 5.5. It's very confusing, but I ended up using about 20 to 24 seed beads for each ring. After I strung on my beads, I used my round nose pliers to create another loop at the end, twisted it around the bottom a few times, and cut off the excess. And you can literally just shape this around your finger, like it's that easy. I think these are pretty cool because you can wear them on any finger that you want, and you don't need like a ring mandrel or anything like that. The second type of ring that I made used a similar technique to the bead animals that we made earlier. I cut a piece of wire that was 12 inches long and folded it in half. I added on one of those 3mm seed beads. Then I added a second bead to the left wire and brought the right side over through that same bead. Repeat this process until the ring's long enough to go around your finger. I ended up using 22 beads, but that was actually a little bit too big. I think that I would have been better off with 20. But once you reach the end, fold the ring into a circle and bring the wire through the first bead. So bring the right side through, then the left, and pull it tight to form a circle. Twist the wire together, cut off any excess, make sure that there's no sharp edges, and that's it. I actually really like these ones. I think they're super cute. So those were all the projects that I had time for this week. But if you're looking for more seed bead crafts, don't worry, I got you. Here are some seed bead crafts that I've made in other videos. I'll make sure to link to them in the description. I made these watermelon earrings, this beaded patch, these bobby pins, stitch markers, and these fidget rings. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it this far, let me know what's your favorite craft to make in the summer. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos just like this one. My merch, my website, and all of my social media will be linked down below. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys later. Bye!